Damn, D.Va, back at it again with the team kills. Hey guys, kStryfe back again with another video. Now today is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about some of the recent changes to the game, more notably with the most recent patch. In the patch there was a bit of changes to some of the heroes, like D.Va, Zenyatta, Roadhog, like McCree, and I got a few opinions on some of them after playing with them or around them over the last week or so. Also played a little bit of the PTR, so some of my opinions come from that as well. Now first, I'm going to be talking about D.Va. Now she has had the most drastic changes in the most recent patch. She's received quite a lot of buffs that have worked well into her favor, and I have seen an increase of D.Va being used, a lot more play of D.Va in the game, and a lot more effective play at that as well. Now in the handful of buffs that she got, the most notable is the defense matrix, her shield essentially. Now that's been changed from having a click on and then wait for cooldown go to more like Reinhardt's shield, where you can bring it up and put it back down again, and it has to recharge over time. Now that is allowing it to be used very frequently and have a very high uptime if required as well. You're never going to really be left without being able to use your shield anymore. Very rarely will that happen. My first criticism on that, I suppose, is that it's a little too good. It's able to be brung up too often, and as it absorbs 100% of the damage from projectiles while it is up, so all non-energy based things. So I think really the only thing it doesn't stop is Mei's main fire, and Zarya's main fire as well. I think it doesn't even stop Symmetra either. No, it doesn't. Other than that, it stops pretty much everything else. Actually, I've even gone on as a Zarya and chucked down my ulti, and it's absorbed that as well. So that was very, very disappointing for me. The sort of change that I think should be put in place for D.Va's defense matrix is to maybe change it to be a bit more closer to Reinhardt's shield, where rather than it having an unlimited amount of absorption for an amount of time in which you choose up to the limit of the available energy for it, it should have a set amount of damage that it absorbs as well. And that would keep it in line with pretty much every other shield in the game. You got Winston's bubble, which has a set amount of damage that it can take. You've got Zarya's bubbles that have a set amount of damage that they can take. And you also have Reinhardt's shield, which has a set amount of damage that it can take. And all three of those have also a time limitation on how, well, not so much Reinhardt, but there's a limitation in some way or form as to how long they're going to be up for. Whereas D.Va being able to toggle it on and off and do an unlimited amount of absorption does definitely create a little bit of an imbalance there. Essentially from the front she is invincible however often she chooses to be. Not saying that it's difficult, like too difficult or impossible to kill her at the moment, but I think the buff is a little bit too strong for her. So I think that either she should have a slower regen on the defense matrix, or have a number value on how much it can absorb, and it has to tick back up again, just like Reinhardt's as well. Now the next part of D.Va that I want to talk about is her ulti. Now that was a big change. Her ulti got the ability to not hurt her, which is great, so she can just stand around, drop it on herself, stand around and shoot people as they try and flee for their lives. It's also being reduced by a second, so when she drops, instead of 4 seconds until it explodes, you're looking at 3 seconds. So it's very, I mean, 1 second doesn't sound like much, but it's a big difference. It's very difficult to get away from D.Va's ulti. It's pretty much guaranteed you're going to kill at least 1 or 2 people with D.Va, unless you go out and drop it in the middle of nowhere for no reason, but I wouldn't expect you to do that. Now, the reason why I think that's a little bit much is because it's got a huge radius, massive radius. It's a giant sphere, so it gets you from the air, it gets you from the ground, it gets you underneath if you're not protected appropriately. Yes, you can hide behind some silly things like a skinny like stop sign pole or something like that, and it protects you, but you have to get there now, and you have 1 second less. Instead of 4, you have 3. That's crazy. It also does a hell of a lot of damage. I think last I saw it does 1,000 damage. That's gonna kill pretty much anyone that's not sufficiently protected, really. It's insane. What I want to mention is that one other ability that's like D.Va's ulti is Junkrat's Riptire. Now, his Riptire, yes, it does an insane amount of damage as well, but it doesn't kill Roadhogs in one shot. It doesn't kill pretty much any of the tanks really in one shot, except for I think Zarya and D.Va's mech, and that's it. And I mean, D.Va's mech isn't really a kill. Now with Junkrat's Riptire, it does less damage, has less radius, and it also can kill Junkrat, as well as the Riptire itself be killed. It's only got 100 HP, which means that a Turbo Bomb turret takes about a second to kill it. Any other player that's looking out for it, or even just notices it, can shoot it down very, very quickly. The only thing it's got going for it is it can climb walls. Then again, D.Va can launch hers into the air, or forward into a group of people. And yeah, Junkrat is also immobilized during that period of time while he's controlling his Riptire. Really, I think that with Junkrat's Riptire, it should maybe get a little bit more health, and that's about it, really. Or maybe a little bit more damage, so it can take out a tank. There's been quite a number of times where I've dropped a Riptire straight onto a full health Roadhog, and he's just, taking a breather. He's back to full health and no one else is dead. So it's pretty difficult to really say that D.Va's ulti was needing even a buff. When you compare her ulti to everyone else's, hers was a team killer. It legit was. There's no other person who can kill a whole team like that with as much surety. I mean, you've got McCree. If he can line up something nice, then that's about it. But I can't really think of much else that can take down a whole team without trying to use a combination of multiple heroes' ultimates. Now, next I'm going to be talking about Zenyatta. There's not much to really talk about with Zenyatta. His changes were quite needed in some ways. His buff to Transcendence is great, so it was a really much needed change. It does more healing. He moves quicker, which is great. One thing I wish that he would do is when he turns on his ultimate, instead of saying something along the lines of embrace the tranquility or something like that, he should say something along the lines of get on the damn point, or get on the payload, because that's where he's going to be the most effective. Now, the changes to his orbs are good, so they make a lot more sense. Instead of just falling off after 3 seconds of line of sight and all that drama, it's great, his changes. I'll chuck on a bit of information on screen here. There's not too much to really go on about Zenyatta. All I want to say really is he does far too much damage at long ranges for support. He's almost, I mean, I would almost call him a sniper, to be honest. He does a better job than I would say Ana does. So he does more healing. He does more damage. He puts debuffs on people as well. And, you know, he's also a bit, I think he's quicker than her on foot, traveling around as well. The only difference between those two is Ana can heal more than one person, debuff more than one person, and her ulti is just the best. So really all I want to see from Zenyatta is maybe a little bit less damage. He's not really a support, he's much more of a sniper now. Other than that, he's fine. There's no worries with him. Maybe he should get some better skins. I don't really like his skins. That's just my opinion. Soldier 76. Yeah, there's not much notable changes that happened to him that people really pay much attention to. But his weapon bloom, the rate in which his weapon shots spread has been increased. So it usually was, I think, first 4 shots were instant. Not instant, they were pinpoint, very hit scan, and then they start spreading up, becoming a bit more all over the place, really. Less accurate, I should say. This has become a bit of a problem because Soldier's effectiveness at medium ranges really relied on how accurate he was. He does very little damage per shot, per bullet. So accuracy really was key for this. With his accuracy being reduced, he's got a lot less effectiveness. So he's not really viable when compared to what other choices you could have. Like with McCree, for example. McCree getting a boost to his range and his main fire damage. It's not really a buff to his range damage, but he's got less fall off. So he is more accurate than Soldier, does more damage per shot than Soldier, and then he also has the close range capability of his flashbang and right click to win. Now yes, his right click to win has been nerfed, but it takes maybe one extra shot to take someone down, and that's not very difficult to do. So you're still seeing some of the same roll up, flashbang, right click, and then a punch or a left click instead when it comes to McCree. So there's not really much reason to play Soldier anymore. Now, all I can really recommend for Soldier's change is to either put his bloom back to how it was, his spread back to how it used to be, or to do a little bit more damage per shot. I'm not talking very much, I'm talking, 1 to 5, just a little tiny bit of damage more per shot, because he is a machine gun user. It's rapid and it would mount up over time, and that extra few damage per shot will definitely help offset the nerf to his accuracy. Roadhog is also someone I want to talk about as well. Now, has changed to his ulti, Whole Hog. Its rate of charge has been reduced as well by 45%. Now, it means it's going to go slower, but on the other hand, his self-healing, his take a breather, is also going to be charging it. So that's a really good thing. So it means that he's not going to be able to just sit there and plug away at people, just absorb tons of damage, and ulti every minute or so. He can get it up quite crazy if he's got good healer on him. He's probably going to find it a bit easier to play a bit more smart and to reposition himself to heal in order to get his ulti going a bit better. Ultimately, its charge time, if played correctly, is going to be really no different. But I think the way that they changed it is quite good for I suppose everyone else playing the game. His heal, however, is a little bit too often. I feel that maybe his the cooldown should be increased a little bit more, and maybe if not his cooldown being increased, then maybe it do a little bit less healing, so maybe 250 instead of 300 health being restored. That'll make it a little bit less overpowered. His main fire as well, I reckon it should do a little bit more damage, just very slightly more damage, but have a slightly shorter range. And the alternate fire should maybe have a little bit longer range, but do a little bit less damage. So it can be used a bit more like a flak cannon to prevent maybe a Farah from flying overhead or something like that, just to sort of dissuade her from getting right above us where maybe Roadhog might not be able to usually get her. Other than that, Roadhog's not too bad really. He is annoying, but he's not too bad. He's well made. Now lastly, Ana. Now Ana, she is got good mechanics, and she's in a good place overall, I would say. There's just a few annoying things that happen with her as you are playing her. Now, as she can shoot her allies to heal them, or her enemies to damage them, when you're trying to do one thing or the other, it can get a little bit frustrating, because someone can run in front of you. Like if you're trying to, say, shoot your Reinhardt tank who's getting a bit low on health, and then a Tracer zips in front of you, she has the possibility of taking that dart, meaning she's getting healed for no reason, and your Reinhardt might die because he needed that heal. And it's no fault of your own. You're aiming in the right position, you clicked right when you're able to click, but someone just darts right in front of you and takes it. So that can definitely be annoying. Now I know she's not meant to be really the main healer, but having that utility taken from you in such a way is very frustrating. So I mean, she's not really set out to be a healer or a damage dealer, because she's not really overly capable. She's not the best pick for either or. Although she can do them, and in the right hands she can be quite effective. That's just it. In the right hands, you have to have the right situations going for you on that as well. Now, on that same note again, with people running in front of you, when you're trying to apply your ulti to someone, it is the worst. I can't even mention how many times it has been that I've gone to chuck the ulti on like maybe a D.Va or a Reinhardt or a Junkrat or someone that I'm aiming at, only to have someone from my team run in front of me unintentionally. Like when pushing in Hanamura right at the end, it gets a little bit squishy when you're going through the doorway. Yeah, you can often get the wrong person, and you might end up getting a very bad person ultied. Like you might end up getting a Symmetra, or you might end up getting I don't know, like a Hanzo or something, or a Tracer, that when they're at the back end of the line and you're trying to get someone like maybe the Reinhardt, because he's so strong with the ulti going, and that happens, it's disheartening, man. I also feel that Ana is a bit too slow for having no movement abilities. She's very slow on foot, and she has no ability to climb up walls, no grappling hook, nothing like that. So her utility for getting around and escape are none, really. If you get caught unawares, you're done for unless you can land that sleep dart. Really, what I gather from Ana on what I've played and what I've seen her be used as, I would say outside of the upper tier players, she's really only used for her ulti, and that's it. That's really all she's useful for, as her sleep dart is too easily broken. She does not as much healing as well really any of the healers, and doesn't do any damage compared to pretty much everyone else. The other changes that were made, like to McCree and Mercy, they're both in good places. There's not really much to say about them, and I'd say that they're quite comfortable where they are. Other than that, I don't really have too much more opinion on how things are going. I'd like to see what's coming up next, the new skins, new maps hopefully, new heroes as well. I'll be definitely keeping you guys up to date with what's going on with Sombra, because I know we're all excited to see what's going on with Sombra. I would cover more about her, but there's more than enough channels out there covering all the leaked information and all that. Otherwise, thanks for listening to me ranting about Overwatch, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.